rice cookers.
Well, we got a K-series in the CRV finally, but it's not quite fully mounted. We're missing this rear bracket, so while we wait for that to come from America, we need to carry on. That's where this stuff comes in. This was sent by Damo the Kiwi on the CRV enthusiast worldwide page on Facebook, so if you need some parts, look him up. This is a bunch of stuff so that we can put a manual transmission on the floor of the auto chassis. So let's get into it. Damo, bro, this is some serious fucking wrapping job you've done here, man. What a mission. Holy crap. A++ packing. Wow. Floor mounted handbrake. This is obviously because the rd1 CRV from Japan has the handbrake in the dash, and that's exactly where the clutch mounts to. So just swap it over to a floor mounted one. Not sure about what cables I'm going to use yet because I am doing a rear disc conversion. These are floor vents for a manual transmission CRV. On a automatic, the floor vent on this side runs pretty much straight down and then through this section and then across and out. But this section needs to be occupied by this, which is shifter bracket or mounting bracket. And I've also got the kind of piece of interior trim that goes along with it. Make everything look all OEM. Are we onto something here? As long as this thing doesn't get in the way. There we go. Oh, no way. Is this actually going to go in here? Holy shit. Did that actually work? That's weird. I'm not used to shit going that easy. This is the shifter bracket, and it goes somewhere like that. Now, I have a couple options here. I could get some dry ice and try and chisel away at all of this sound deadening on the floor, and then tack weld this whole thing into place. Or I could drill a couple holes through into the floor and mount it with nuts and bolts. Which should still give me plenty of room for everything else to go in there. And it would also mean that this is removable. So, for instance, I can take it out of the car and make adjustments to it. Well, as you can see, this may have all just been a waste of time because this isn't going to clear unless this sits higher, which it might do, not sure. Oh, man. Never ending. The struggles doing all this custom shit. I'm not sure how that's going to work with the interior trim that I've got coming for this. So, another option is to not use this at all and mount this directly to the floor, but create some sort of adjustable spacing system here. Get it as far back as I can, and something like that, maybe just enough so that I can still use the OEM trim. Problem is, I'm not going to know dimension, spacing, or any of that stuff until the rest of the interior trim arrives. So once again, I'm at the mercy of parts. Okay, so basically I need to put this on hold for now. Again, let's move on to the clutch pedal. This is that pedal I was messing with the other day. Got my mate Gary to weld this nut on the other side of the pedal. That way you can have a adjustable clutch stop. So that's going to go against the firewall, and as you can see, the pedal's touching on the bracket here, and as I wind in this clutch stop, pulls it away, which allows me to adjust the throw of the clutch. Well, here we are under the dash. This is where the clutch master goes, and this bolt up here is where the upper bolt for that bracket mounts. So this clutch pedal here, it's got to slide in there. That's where that little upper mount bolt goes. So I'm just going to feed this in here and see how we are for clearance on this kind of shit here, and go from there. Okay, got that bolt in there. It's not completely secured, it's just kind of holding the pedal up. Now I need to feed the clutch master through the firewall. Now I just need to line up this and chuck a pin through it. Alright, got that pin through, just through there. Now I just need to get a safety clip through it, and then I can start tightening up all these 12s. Clutch pedal, brake and accelerator all in. Got it all buttoned up. Now let's go to the clutch master and the reservoir and shit for it. So yeah, back to the firewall. Goes like right there somewhere. Probably through here somewhere. This bolt's too long. Need a shorter 10mm to go in there. Whoopsie. Alright, got this mounted up. It clears the lines. Just got a zip tie holding the rubber hose up so that it doesn't collide with anything here. It's going to make bleeding the system maybe a little interesting, but at least like this it won't rub on anything. So you don't really want anything rubbing on brake lines ever. Here we have the hybrid racing clutch line kit for a right hand drive EG DC EK. This is the clutch slave I'm using. This was off the CRV. The replacement fittings are banjo, so it requires a good surface here. So what I need to do first is clean up all of this, clean up this surface, and then we can start threading this line to the clutch master. Got that end cleaned up, got that surface cleaned, got this end cleaned, and that end cleaned up. Now I just need to apply some high temperature grease in here. And there we go. Nice and smooth now. Okay, got some grease on this rod for the clutch. Make sure you get that copper washer on the other side. And then one on the underside. Like so. Man. Let's get it fitted to the master. This is still loose. I haven't tightened anything up. Just giving this a quick sand, because this surface needs to be really, really even now that it's getting a banjo and a washer. Right, it's got it pretty clean. There's still a slight low spot, but I think it'll be okay. Same thing again, you want a copper washer on each side. So that's the route it's taking at the moment. And up. I wonder though if that would be better to go under. Point this cable down this way. Gonna have some radiator hoses needing to come through in this area. Okay, so I've gone and picked up some P-clamps and some rib nuts and a rib nut tool so that I can secure all my lines a bit better. First thing I've done here is I found a P-clamp off the old clutch line to mount to there to get that to go down and around here, and then we got a couple zip ties here just to show how this is going to go. I might have to pull this side off because running it behind there might be a problem, because I want to use this location here, but when I use that location it pulls it against this line. So I might go from here across to here. Yeah, I don't know. Let's have a look into that. Put a P-clamp around this, like that, something like that. Maybe up under here somewhere. Like that. That clears this line, clears the rest of them, and then from there down to there. Yeah, let's try that, huh? And bend it up. So we've got it clamped from there down to this one, clears all this to that. Let's pull this bracket off, it's not really helping. You're not really helping. You want a tool? Other thing I could do is go to here, like that. Got the shifter bracket and shit still to go on there as well. Okay, that'll give us a rough idea of where everything's gonna sit. Liking the way that line's running, so let's mount this up. And I think I'm gonna flip it and mount it so that it's pointing downwards instead of the way it was before, pointing upwards. Like that. Runs from there, across there, up, along the firewall, and then back up to the master. Alright, let's open that bleed at the bottom and see if we get any gravity bleeding through. Managed to gravity bleed some through. So now I'm going to try and use this vacuum assisted bleeder and see if we can get some to come through. That should have pulled some fluid through. Yep, almost emptied the fecker. See if this clutch pedal works, huh? Still a bit spongy, but I have to review the footage and see how far it's actually moving this. Let's get a fitting on here and see what we are working with. The hybrid racing high pressure conversion adapter line thing, whatever we want to call it. One up top there. So I've managed to twist this power steering line a little bit down at the fitting at the rack, and what that's allowed it to do is point towards the firewall, but it's twisted this around. So I'm going to put a little bit of pressure on this to get it away from there and then lock it in place. Now I just need to put a P-clamp somewhere here on the strut tower. Cleared some space down here where a bracket used to be. Fuel line kit comes with a banjo fitting, which replaces that. That one's going to tighten all the way up in there, and then over here on the fuel rail we have a bit of an angle to play with. On the return side, have a straight line. Then on the bottom of the fuel pressure regulator we have our return fitting back to the tank and our return from the fuel rail. This would be the one I fitted earlier for return. Alright, that's got that return on there loosely, and then the return from the fuel rail, and then mount this probably somewhere there. So there's a rough setup of the fuel system. Well, that's about where that's going to go, I guess. Something about like that. So this end here is still loose because I need to replace the fuel filter. It's a good thing I am replacing it, because when I was shaking out the excess fuel, there's a lot of shit coming out of it. We need this plug for the knock sensor, so I'm going to have a go at trying to remove it. I believe take this off first, so cap, Oh, there we go. Okay, here we are over at the engine loom. And that looks like it might be a different size. Yeah, that's a way bigger pin. I need to transfer over the whole pin and plug. Okay, this is the pin that I need for the K24 knock sensor. So, I need to pull this all the way back. Something like that. And then pinch it so the line can't go anywhere. Well, not the greatest at soldering, but I think that's going to work just fine. There we go. All sealed up and good again. Just repin this from the correct side. Like so. And then chuck this back on. Like that. And then here's the K24 knock sensor. Boom. So here's the OEM filter bracket, and here's an OEM replacement filter. Part number for anyone who's interested in a B20 CRV first gen filter. One last thing to do would be to run the vacuum source line from the fuel pressure regulator to somewhere over here. Now on the back side of the intake manifold there's a vacuum nipple. Well, at least I presume it is a vacuum source because it was unplugged. That I pointed out in the video before last when I was doing the knock sensor stuff. So I'm going to go from there somewhere under here and along the firewall to here. Right, let's follow the direction that the clutch line goes. That seems like a pretty safe bet. Something like that. Still gives me room to mount this somewhere else at some point. A little bit of slack under the intake manifold. Okay. Okay. A little bit extra. Cool, so that's from here, down following the clutch, out of the way of the shifter weight here, and up to the manifold. So just in between those runners you can see the vacuum tube coming out. Now I'll just get a little bit of a zip tie around that. Right, I think it's about time we upgraded the, oh, are you kidding me? It's broken! God damn it, the tab broke off it. Snapped off. Shit. Time to get this fuel cradle out to replace the pump. If you want to know how to get to the point where you can get to the fuel tank, I've got another video on taking the interior out of this. It'll show you how to remove parts of the rear seat. Agitate all of this with a brush and vacuum just so that when I'm pulling this all apart none of this ends up in the fucking tank. to go all the way forward and clip down and all the way back. There we go. Get the fuel sending unit, fuel level sending unit out. And get this fucker into a bucket like that. Okay, got that little safety out. Now this release should come off like so. Ah! Jesus! Okay, so that's the old fuel pump out. A little retaining clip there. Cut that out. Doesn't fit. Doesn't fit in the CRV cradle. Cool. Gotta love it when stuff doesn't fit, huh? This pipe here is too long. You can see the height difference. So I need to take off the difference off that pipe. That's roughly 20 millimeters. So that's what I'm gonna have to take off this pipe. I wonder if I can get... No, might have to be the hacksaw. Got this pipe shortened, so that should now allow for this to go in here without any issues. Bit of grease to help that go on there. That's got that clamped on there. Just need to put the power wire on. Nice. I'm going to have to reuse the stock filter because the one I do need is this one. It's got a raised mounting tube, I guess you'd call it, whereas the spare one that comes in the kit is for a different cradle system. It's more level, whereas this one's raised. Can't get a level one in there. So I'm gonna have to reuse this. Like that. Which is actually alright. We'll just put it over that. Okay, that's holding it pretty good. So we got power, the blue wire to the red. Ground is just ground to the actual bracket. This is secure. Let's chuck this back in. Forget this has got to go back on this side. Cool. Cool, upgraded fuel pump. With the fuel pump installed, that's a wrap on the fuel system. Apart from the gauge that I still need for the fuel pressure regulator, which will be here next week, so that's no problem. Well, seems like a good place to stop. We got a lot done. There's still a lot more to do, so make sure you are subscribed for further updates on the K-swap. And I think I might have had too much petrol fumes.